So obviously this is supposed to be attached to that. It's no longer attached. So all those bolts broke off. Well, it is day number 7. Today is November 6th, and we left Key Largo on October 31st. So we came down on the 28th to finalize buying the boat, and we've been staying on the boat since. So we've now been on the boat for over a week, and we haven't been able to get off of the boat since the 31st. Essentially, we got over here, and we're thinking we're going to get hauled out the same day, by speaking with them prior and stuff. And we kind of dropped the ball. We didn't realize that we needed boat insurance for it to be hauled out and put on the hard. Didn't even occur to us. I've owned boats in the past, and I've had insurance on a couple of them, but didn't think we would need it just to get it hauled out. That's definitely different coming from the RV world. All right, well, we've been at this spot for a few days now, trying to work on getting insurance, but essentially we're out of food. So we're gonna go hit a local restaurant that's not too far from Publix and eat lunch, get some groceries, and come back to here, to the Anchorage. Fort Pierce actually has a free ride share service, which is pretty cool. It's like electric vehicles, but it's kind of like a ride share. You use an app and they pick you up, and then they take you to businesses and stuff. So she actually basically went over the bridge to the Publix. It's not too far away, and then coming right back. We actually stopped at the Free City Dock because when we were coming by, heading to where we were going to go for the restaurant for lunch. And there were a bunch of boats here, so we're like, oh, let's tie up. So we tied up, and then realized the other end of the dock has barricades across it. But by that point, we were already here, and we had this one shaft that's messed up, so I can't really use the one engine. And I don't know if we're really anywhere else we could really dock to, besides going all the way down to there. So we just went ahead, and I asked one of the neighbors. They said that he's disabled from hurricane damage, and that they let him stay here. So I was like, oh, we're only here for, we're just getting groceries, so maybe an hour or so on the dock. And he said, yeah, y'all probably gonna be fine. So no one has come along yet to run us off. And a city employee did come by, but I'm waiting for Elise to get back. She's on her way back right now, and I'm gonna help her haul the groceries in, and then we'll be out of here. So at least we have some food, and we can wait a little bit longer until we get hauled out. We got a nice haul of groceries, so she's putting those away for us. Well, a little bit of change of plans. We were gonna grab some fuel while we were already out, but the wind was blowing into there, and they already had 2 boats on the dock, so it was like we would have fit, but it was like just barely. And with the one engine messed up, I can't really maneuver very well at slow speeds. I kind of have to already be moving to be able to turn. From a dead stop, it's pretty terrible. This was originally going to be like a 4 to 5 day trip where we moved the boat up, get it hauled out the same day we get there, and that was going to be it. It's now turned into we moved the boat up, and we've been stuck on the boat for like that same time period. So I think we're we left on the 31st, and today's the 7th. So today's day 8. We're on the boat, double the amount of time we thought, which is why we had to get some groceries today. So lessons learned. Well, for you, it's just been, a split second of editing. But for us, today is November 12th. November 12th. So if you remember, we started on October 31st. So today is day 13 of being on the boat with no dinghy, not going to a marina other than to resupply. So far, basically what happened is we got over here, they couldn't haul us out. like we originally thought was going to happen when we called them. Basically, 100% our fault. We should have scheduled it better, but we were under the impression they could easily get us out when we got there. Doesn't matter. And we also needed insurance to pull it out, because they typically want you to have insurance at a marina. Well, they also want you to have it here put on the dry dock. So it took us almost a week to get insurance. It just takes a while, so it's definitely our fault. We probably should have done that before we left. But we thought we were gonna put it on the hard. We'll take care of that stuff afterwards. So we're just gonna do this one trip and deal with it after. But nope. So anyway, needless to say, it took us about a week to get insurance, and then today is now Tuesday. We talked to them yesterday, and they said that they can definitely get us, hauled out sometime mid to late this week. So we've already went to a local marina once, grabbed some fuel, pump out, get some water. We needed the pump out really, and figured might as well get some fuel while we're there to patronize the place. Also got some food, which was nice because they had a little restaurant there. And then so we've been doing all right because we've resupplied one time. We've been to the dock twice since we got here. Once to go get some groceries, and once to get some fuel and a pump out. Once we realized they weren't gonna be able to take us, and our pump, or our holding tank was full. Today, Elise is gonna go get our car. So essentially the plan is I'm gonna drop her off anywhere that I can get her to land, and she's gonna Uber over to a rental car company, take the rental car company back to Central Florida where we live, about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and then we'll drive our vehicle back. So that way we have a vehicle over here, because we should be getting hauled out soon. And honestly, we're out of clothes. I'm literally, at this point we're 2 weeks in and only brought like 4 days of clothes with us. So doing that, grabbing some medications and clothes and all the stuff that we've been tried not to go get, but we desperately need to go get. So time to pull the anchor and get this puppy started. Here's my little anchor switch, by the way. It's just a simple up and down. That's all it is. Either up or down, and that's it. So Elise is gonna untie us from our cleat to give us some slack. And then now we should be able to pull it up. It takes a second for the clutch to engage. And then when it starts to get binded a little bit, I let off. That way the boat can kind of maybe shift a little, put the tension on the boat, on the rope, instead of directly on the windlass. We are still rocking the bent original anchor. It's been holding just fine. Luckily we've been in this little hurricane hole kind of thing here, so it's been really nice and calm. I've had a couple neighbors come through and stay last night and the night before, but other than that, we've had it pretty much to ourselves. Sounds like we're at chain. Getting binded again, so I'm gonna wait for a second and let the weight of the boat move the chain around. All right, now I'm gonna drop it. So all I'm gonna do is press down, let the gravity pull it back down, and then reverse it and pull it back up again. We don't have a way on the front to spray off the anchor. Like, we don't have a hose up there, so dropping it in the water really helps get it cleaned off. How's it looking? She says pretty muddy. Drop it again. What's that?
I thought, let me just try and scrape it because it's clay.
Okay. So nice clay bottom here. So she's gonna grab the boat hook and give it a little scrape so we can get cleaned off. Essentially, while she's doing that, I'm just gonna keep an eye out around to make sure we don't, drift into some of these boats over here this guy has tied up. Thankfully, that guy has not said anything whatsoever. If you read the comments, apparently it was pretty common for him to say things to people that were anchored out here, but we have not had that. Although he did tell someone he was going to fill it with derelict boats, and he's definitely done that. You can see there's a mooring ball here, there. He's got 4 little boats there, and they spin around. So be careful if you come into this anchorage. Let me drop it again. I've already been on Facebook Marketplace looking for a good anchor. Because we have that pulpit in the front, we can't do like the newer style anchors like the Mantis. Everybody has like a Mantis or a Rokna. They have like a loop, and that won't work with our pulpit up there. So all right, anchor's up. Time to get underway with our single engine. And there's the mooring anchor, or the mooring ball. So gonna go into reverse, just spin around a little bit and back off that. There you go, backed up. Now I'm going forward. Squeaky wheel here, took care of that. We actually have hydraulic steering, so you can see how long it takes for us to turn left because we only have the left engine, basically. Now I do still have that. I put the one bolt back into the starboard side engine. I got the one bolt back into that, so we have used it to go into the dock, just to go forward only. I think I might have put it in reverse one time. We got into a little bad spot, but it has held so far. I'm just mainly not using it. So right now the engine is not even on, but when we get closer to the dock, I turn the engine on, so that way if I need to use that side, then I will, but I try not to, because it's only being held on with one of 6 bolts. All right, found the dock. At least it's just gonna step off. Unfortunately, the city dock's down, so. All right, a little bit of a success there. Got Elise onto the dock. That's just a little local marina that she was able to step off at. Unfortunately, the city dock here in Fort Pierce is damaged from a hurricane from like over a year ago, and they haven't fixed it. They just have a sign that says it's closed, which is actually on the pavement, like near the grass side. It's not on the dock side. So coming up to the dock, you see a part that's damaged, but you wouldn't know it's closed until you get tied up, which is what happened to us kind of the other day. Elise went to go get some groceries. We tied up for less than an hour. Publix was a mile away, and she went over and back via free city transport. So we were probably there maybe an hour. And I guess someone called the sheriff on us because we were at a closed dock. I mean, I'm not sure what we're really supposed to do in that scenario. We don't have a dinghy. And, I worked in law enforcement, so I was hoping that we'd get a cool cop if someone did call. Luckily, that was the case. There was actually a sailor tied up to the dock, which is why we went, because we seen other boats tied up. And come to find out, both of those boats were damaged in the hurricane, and they've gotten permission from the city. Now, he said the people at the museum right there, because there's like a aquatic center, a museum, and a city park with a dock. But he said the museum people kind of, would talk to him until he finally got permission. Like, they kind of gave him a hassle for being there. And he's like, where am I supposed to go? Unfortunately, when I went to get off the dock, the wind was kind of blowing me into it. I needed to back up. And, I've been trying not to use the starboard engine because we only have one pin in it. But I was like kind of pinned up against the wall with the wind. So needless to say, I put it's completely in neutral, in the lowest RPMs I can go in, but I put it in gear and nothing happened. So obviously I've broken that pin as well, which means no starboard engine, which if you've driven a twin screw at slow speeds, like I'm going to try to naturally turn to this direction. Only this engine over here is working. So as I turn that one to go forward, it wants to push the boat this direction. So even though I have my rudder facing the other way, it still takes a little bit before it comes back around and makes the actual left turn. So in tight spaces, it's not the greatest. But I did it. I was very nervous about it because I don't want to bump into somebody's boats. We didn't come anywhere close to anybody's boats or anything. But the problem is, now I only have one working engine, 100%. We got to go to the haul out, and I know there's some sharp turns in there because I've already satellite looked at that marina, which is why we didn't go since Elise is gone for the day, I figured I got nothing to do except for work stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here into an open area. It's not windy, there's no chop or anything like that. I'm coming out here into the open area so that I can operate the boat by myself and just kind of do some slow maneuver practicing, because clearly I don't have really a choice at this point. We're not going to have a working starboard shaft, so I'm going to have to get this thing hauled out with only one motor, or one engine I should say. So I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm gonna try to practice a little bit and see how I feel about it. Okay, I'm in a good spot to do a little practicing. Just trying to kind of show you the front end. Now I currently have the wheel all the way to the right because I was backing up, but I'm gonna put the wheel all the way to the left. Okay, so it's turned as far left as I can go, and I'm going as slow as I can. I'm going to put just the left engine forward because that's the only one that's working for the shaft, and watch. See how we're still turning to the wrong way? Then eventually it kind of catches up. Now we're kind of stopped. And now we're actually starting to turn left. So I just practiced a little bit, and I've decided that I'm gonna move all of my fenders over to the port side because I think that it will be easier to dock on the port side. What happened there is I got on the dock there. Elise was able to hop off, but the wind kept blowing me into the dock, so I couldn't really get off the dock because my starboard engine wasn't doing anything. So I ended up having to kind of like drift back on the dock and eventually turn left off of it, but I didn't want to get too close to those boats, and the wind was kind of pushing me towards the boats. So I just had to let it drift back a little bit and then go forward and go towards the boats and away from the boats, which pretty scary, I won't lie. Doing that is it's just sketchy. So I don't want to hit anybody's boats. Now I'm not sure really what I could do different. For those of you who are, used to driving a single engine that's not mounted in the center, please give me some tips. But when I go into reverse, if I turn the wheel all the way and then give it a couple bumps of power, it does spin quite nicely. So I can kind of spin this direction with my aft going towards the starboard side, which is nice. So I can spin. But trying to spin the other direction is impossible. I can just drive around in a big circle. But what I think I'm going to do is put the fenders onto the port side, because then I can just come into the dock like at a wide angle and park up on the dock. And then when I go to get off the dock, when I go to go forward again, this engine is going to naturally push me away from the dock, which is what I need. So we can't go back to that dock. It was locked apparently, so Elise was able to get out. Kind of in a weird spot. I'm sure, I don't know. Shouldn't probably even be telling y'all about this because y'all think that we're terrible people. But we're just in a little bit of a bind, I promise you. We're normally, good citizens. But you gotta get to land somehow, and all these docks are private. Like, you can't get to land anywhere, which, yeah. All right, I made it back over to the anchorage by myself and successfully dropped the anchor. I consider that a win. So it's looking good. Got it tied to our cleat. I was able to wait until the wind kind of blew us around and then back down on it. And it feels nice and taut. So setting an anchor alarm. Just trying to keep an eye out for kind of where I am relative to this buoy and that house over there. So cranked up the generator, get the AC going because it's going to be hot again today. yesterday we had the AC run on high, and it was 74 in the bedroom where the AC is working, and 90 on the couch close to the glass door. Now that was in the evening, you know, when the sun was really beaming. And then we actually moved our little temperature sensor up high on the door, and it was like 110 or something up there. It was crazy. So that back door, the sliding glass door, it's black, and it's not shaded very well. And yeah, it lets a lot of heat in. So something we'll be addressing whenever we do our curtains and stuff. I guess now I'm gonna go inside and pull the covers for the V drives and take a look at the one on this side. Maybe I'll get lucky and be able to put a bolt back in it so I can use it one more time to get onto the dock. That was my third time trying to use it, so I think I pushed my luck a little there. Yeah. Well, it has been quite a long day. At least went all the way to Central Florida and then back. We tried to assess if she should come back today or tomorrow. It is almost 9 p.m. and she's actually getting a dinghy ride by Brian, who apparently is one of the co-founders of Sea People, the app, which is really cool. Put a hail out on the app, and he offered to give a ride, which is super, super, really nice. I mean, just so nice. All right, not sure if you'll be able to hear me. I got you out of the wind. We're finally gonna get hauled out. It's Friday, it's 5:03, 20-mile-an-hour winds. Not good. We were heading over here and our belt broke, so the engine overheated. So I had to throw the anchor and fix that while we stopped and then get back underway. We were supposed to get out this morning, then it got delayed, and the guy had just a bunch of problems, so we're almost there. By the way, today is the 16th, so we've been on the boat for 17 days straight and living on the boat for close to 20, I think. All right, I gotta pay attention. It's way too windy. It's been fun, don't get me wrong, but we originally wanted to do 4 to 5 days, and so we ran out of food, and then we just ran out of food today, and then with the engine trouble, and it was super windy today, we tried to anchor because we got almost all the way here, and they said, hold up, the boat that was leaving, they melted their muffler, so we had to like piddle around and wait. We finally just went and set the anchor. It wasn't holding. We're like, all right, it's 4 o'clock. Let's go ahead and head back to our little cove for the night because it doesn't seem like we're gonna get hauled out. And we get almost all the way over to the cove, of course, right? Get mostly there, and engine overheats. Kind of find out it was the V belt had broke. So when the engine overheated, we threw the anchor, tied it off right outside the channel, and then literally while that's happening, the marina calls and they're like, hey, you can come on down. Come on in, we're waiting on you. And so we're like of all the bad timings, and this is kind of how it's been an adventure. All right, we finally made it to land. Well, I technically have not stepped on land yet, so a little tight getting in here. But only having one engine, it's definitely, you just can't really maneuver. It's just a lot harder. But we got in here, took it nice and slow, especially with those high winds out there, and had to dodge a sunk boat. Full moon in the background. And just wanted to film getting on land. I'm about to take an Uber, go get our car. been on that thing for 20 days.
Oh man. Yeah.